Missed both times. So let's try it again. I'll do the same thing. Last Minute Man, and we are coming to you today from my backyard. And Mr. Obvious, what are we doing today?
Oh, we're going to do an unboxing of the Glock 48. That's what we're going to do.
All right, Glock 48. This has not been shot, not been okay, Mr. Obvious. This is your standard Glock packaging here. Yep. And this is comes in a hard plastic tank case. Let's go ahead and get her open.
All right, let's spin her around, open her, and see what we got in here. And what is that?
That is a handbag.
We got a shopping bag. So,
there you go.
I wonder why they would put that in there. I guess when you buy it at the store, they're supposed to put that in the bag and carry it out.
It's discreet packaging, so you don't, I guess, offend people walking down the boardwalk with it. I don't know.
I don't know. Deal that one.
Leave it to Glock.
Yeah. So we got
so what
we got our
the thing no one ever uses.
The thing no one ever uses. We got looks like a little cleaning kit. That's pretty neat here.
Yeah.
We got a spare mag and a loader for it.
Yeah, look at that.
Look at that. That's
so if you're hurting your fingers loading it, you know.
Yep.
I don't think anybody will admit to using this.
No. Yes.
All right, so you got two mags.
Two mags and
this is Glock 48.
Glock 48.
And let's get okay, Mr. Obvious. So what we got here? We got the Glock 48, correct?
Yep, Glock 48.
And tell the folks at home, why did you purchase a Glock 48?
I had the Glock 43.
The 43X.
43X. It was real short. I liked it. It shot good, shot well, but I liked it. Well, you know me and my handguns. I like a little bit longer barrel. So
yeah.
This has got an inch longer barrel. So it's kind of accuracy thing. So I'm going to see what it does because we are planning to put a red dot on top of it.
Yeah.
So,
I told him to purchase the wrong one. He was going to have it for this video. And actually we were going back and forth, and I said, Mr. Obvious, I really don't know a whole lot about these. And he said, well, what's the best one? Well, I was reading, and a lot of people were saying the Trigicon RMR, and then the sister to it, or I guess the next option would be the Holosun.
Yeah.
And you know, so I said, I get that, you know.
507C.
Right. And then it ended up being too large.
Yeah, we needed
for this, and you know.
Yeah.
So you can't know everything.
Yeah.
And I certainly don't.
So we got the K coming.
So we got it on its way. Now you purchased this at American Gun and Pawn, and this was just sitting on the shelf there. And Mr. Obvious said, you know, I like that. It's a little longer. When we did the 43X video, and you can go back and watch that, we were shooting, well, I mean, realistically, it's 21-foot firearm. I mean, that's what it's made for.
Yeah.
It's self-defense, 21 feet. And we didn't show on camera, but we have shot it since. And that thing was highly inaccurate. It's like the bullet was not stabilizing at any distance or any range. Even shooting off sandbags, we couldn't really hit a you know, soda pop sized target, I guess, at 30 yards. It was having a difficult time. So Mr. Obvious said, I need a little more length on that barrel.
Yeah.
And you figure that'll stabilize it. But we'll see out here. We'll actually just go out here and shoot. I've got a little target set up in my backyard here. And we'll just shoot on the steel gong there and kind of get a drawing and instinctive shooting. And I think you're going to do a little more of an accuracy shot with it.
Yeah, I'm going to take my time and just squeeze off each shot. Even though this has got long trigger pull, you know, Glock's a staple gun.
It's a Glock.
Staple gun trigger.
First thing I said when he brought it over, I went and I snapped it and I said, yeah, it's a Glock. Yeah. And then you fill the reset on it. And let's talk about that real quick. When you do the reset and my finger's on the trigger and
it's way out there. So
it's a Glock.
It's a Glock.
So you know, nothing spectacular there, and that's what you get. These are a very reliable firearm. I'm not knocking this at all. It's just what you come to expect from Glock. It's not a competition trigger or anything.
They work. That's why I like them.
They work, and they are very reliable.
When you need them, they work.
And I mean, that's all you can say about that. So we'll get out here and shoot it, and I'll draw from concealment. This is actually what I wear a lot in the summertime. I'm always with this vest, and I carry a full-size 1911 in this thing. And well, now it's a 460 Roland that I'm carrying. But let's see. We'll conceal this, and I'll draw it and just instinctive shoot and see how I do. And Mr. Obvious is going to put some rounds on target. And without any further ado, Let's get some shooting.
The shoot.
And Mr. Obvious is going to do an accuracy testing here. And this is about 30 yards right there. Just a hair under. We're about 28 actually. So he's going to shoot at that offhanded and kind of see that Glock 43X we could not make this shot with.
Yeah,
so
it's hard. Out of 6 rounds, you might hit it once or twice.
Yeah, it was ridiculous actually. So we'll see if this extra 1-inch barrel length really does help.
Yeah.
Let's see if it stabilizes.
See if it happens.
Hit.
It's rocking. You grazed it.
There you go. All right, so you hit it 3 out of 5 there?
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. Actually, you know, I mean, really, you're not going to be shooting at a man at 30 yards.
No.
So
I'm wiggling a little bit. It's still a short barrel, so
right.
At least you can hit it.
So let's get down there and I'll show people kind of a drill I do practicing, and we'll see if instinctive shooting is any better. All right, so if I'm going to use this for my everyday carry, I'm going to wear what I typically wear, and we've got 10 rounds in here, and I've never shot this thing.
We got 9 or 10.
What's that?
9 or 10.
Yeah, something like that. So we've got this. It is chambered. Okay, and some people are like, oh, this isn't safe, this and that. Well, this is the way I would be carrying it. So Glocks do not have a safety, and everybody's like, oh, it's an internal safety. Your trigger's your safety, folks. Just don't pull the trigger. Like any firearm, don't pull the trigger and it won't go off. But so what we're going to do is I'm going to just stand in the surrender position. Mr. Obvious is going to say go, and this is just the first time I've ever shot this firearm. Just instinctive shooting, and let's see if, you know, without aiming down sights, if I can just draw it and instinctively shoot and actually hit something. But let's go, Mr. Obvious. You just tell me when.
When?
All right.
Pretty good.
Now, we did that, and you can speed up. You can get faster and faster. What I'm going to do is do the same thing and do a double tap. And let's go, Mr. Obvious. You say when.
When?
Missed both times. That's point blank. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's try it again. I'll do the same thing. This time I'll hit it, I promise. Okay. Okay, Mr. Obvious.
When?
Okay. So that's what you're going to do just to train, just to work on things. And that's instinctive shooting. I never even looked at the sights. Okay, you can see that did not work for me the first time, or the first time I double tapped. So now I'm just going to empty the rest of them on that and kind of shoot at a cadence and see how I do. So let's go. And okay, so this thing shoots well.
Shoots good.
It shoots very good. Yeah. And you know, these are drills. Like when I'm shooting, I'm going to make the most of my range time as I can. Okay, and you want to shoot. I don't know how deep your pockets are. I know I'm not the richest guy in the world, so ammunition's expensive. So what I like to do is, like I just showed, what's a realistic scenario? I'm going to draw from concealment. I'm going to aim. I'm going to shoot, or I'm going to instinctively shoot. The way I always trained in the military was just instinctive shooting. That's what we did. We drew, and you did the same thing every time. And when you do that, you'll hit what's in front of you. So, and this is, you know, right at, you know, I'd say we're at 25 feet.
7 yards, something like that.
Yeah.
8.
So yeah, we're relatively close, but this would be a typical confrontation that you might run into. I mean, God forbid you ever do have to do that. But as you can see, this is an effective firearm. Train with whatever you got. But let's get back for an AAR.
All right.
And we are back with our after action report. And what do we have to report today, Mr. Obvious?
Well, we're going to report I can hit at a range anyway with that one.
Yeah.
The 43X. So.
The 43X definitely could not pull this off. Okay, so we will say that. It definitely did not have the capability to shoot 20, 30 yards. It just wasn't there. This, actually, that extra little bit of barrel
Yep.
really does stabilize the bullet. I mean, that's what we're finding. So, you know, and that's that particular 43X. There might be somebody out there that can hit soda pop cans at 50 yards. I don't know. If you're out there, please let us know in the comments section. But, you know, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying these two hillbillies couldn't pull it off.
Yeah.
And, you know, right there, 28, 30 yards that you were shooting, it actually shot pretty good.
Yeah, I'm hitting target. And I had a little practice with it. I could probably hit it 5 out of 5. You know, that's the first time it's ever been fired. That gun has never been fired.
Right. So right out of the box, it was reliable. We didn't have a jam, didn't have anything like that happen. Of course, that's always possible with any semi-auto. But and you should train, you should do drills to compensate for that. But I will say some things I really like about this. I like the profile. I like the way it fits in my hand, just like the 43X. And this is a single stack mag, I think, in this.
Well,
and
they kind of go offset a little bit, so
well,
it's kind of Z-shaped.
Yeah, I know the 43X was, and we actually had a guy comment. I was calling it a double stack. I apologize. It wasn't technically a double stack. But I think this is single stack. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, the profile of this firearm, the way it feels in the hand, you know, is very nice. Very instinctive for me because I shoot a lot of 1911s. And it's got that feel to it.
Yeah, it's lightweight.
If you use the sights, they're great. And I was like explaining to Mr. Obvious, and we are going to do a review on this Holosun. Was it a 407K that you ordered? And so we will be doing a review on that red dot when he gets it. We'll actually do a side-by-side comparison. The way Mr. Obvious shot out here at 28 yards versus the way he'll shoot at 28 yards with the Holosun. And, you know, again, this is with no practice, just dry run, you know, what we did there. And, I mean, I'll say, and like I was explaining to Mr. Obvious, it is the wave of the future. I think everything's going to start coming out with these red dots. I think that's going to happen. Myself, personally, I don't want to sound like an old fuddy here, but the way I've always trained was instinctive shooting. If I'm using a handgun, this is designed to get me to my primary weapon, which would be my rifle or a shotgun, or, you know, or, I mean, if you're out and about, obviously this is what you got. So you got to rely on it. However, if called upon to do so, yeah, could you shoot further with a red dot? Absolutely. Could you shoot more accurate and precise with a red dot? Absolutely. I think you can. But in a defensive scenario or a bear's charging at me, the sights do me no good. And I went out of my way there on purpose, and I missed twice. I didn't do that on purpose. Trust me. But I do instinctive shooting. Okay. I don't even look down these sights. It isn't something I do.
Point and shoot.
I point and shoot because that's what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And we trained in the military. We would always train carrying and we were using M9s, Berettas, and we would carry it like so, you know, so you're carrying it right in front of you. So if you're walking through a house, if I pivot and turn, anywhere I pivot and turn, that weapon's facing whatever I'm looking at. Okay. So that's the way we would train. Always shoot from here. You know, you always see in these movies guys walking around like this.
Yeah.
I'm making somebody nervous over there. No, but they're walking around. They got so they're coming around a corner with their, you don't do that. Okay. No, you're holding it close to you. All right. There's no reason. I mean, the bullet flies out, you know, I don't need to get closer. So you're really shooting from here. And Mr. Obvious can tell you when I draw my 1911, I shoot like this and I'll hit a man-sized target, no problem at 21 feet. So I can just draw and shoot from the hip. But that's the way I've always trained. That being said, everybody's different, you know. You should look through your sights, I guess. You should have that training down first. But yeah, instinctive shooting, that's the way I do. So I say all that to say this. A red dot, I don't think, personally, this is now, record this now, I don't think it's going to benefit me much in a defensive scenario. I don't. I don't even think I'll notice the sight. So that's my opinion, and we'll see what happens when we get that in. That'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I should have it in about 3 more days, work days. So yeah, so we have it. We get it on there, get it zeroed in. We'll give her a shot and see what happens.
What's your positive to this, and give me a negative?
Well, the positives, I mean, I like it, the longer barrel over the 43X.
And it doesn't
It's
hurt
fine.
concealability at all, by the way.
Yeah.
That extra inch barrel.
And, you know, not having a actual safety on it, that don't bother me because I don't touch the trigger unless I need it.
Right.
You know, keep your finger off the trigger.
Yeah, Glock's been going a long time without them, so
I like the
an
positive.
external safety is not
Yeah,
necessary.
this gun does have a rail under it for a flashlight, which I'll probably never put on something like this. I mean, the red dot's fine. All the other hardware on a gun's garbage to me. So
and teach their own. Said people really like that stuff. They like the red dots, things like that. I've never used them.
But a Glock's a Glock. I mean, finding a negative to it, I can find one. This is plastic. See that? Look.
Oh, your guide rod?
Yeah, the guide rod. If we get up close, you can look at the guide rod in here. Look at it, see how it bends? It's plastic. I mean, I don't like plastic stuff in my gun.
Well, why'd you buy a Glock?
the bottom polymer don't bother me.
Right.
The guide rod and stuff.
I mean, that's, and I get what you're saying.
You know,
that's probably never, that's not going to be an issue. I mean, that will function. Really, when you buy a Glock, folks, you're not buying an heirloom piece. You're not buying a, primo custom made, this isn't anything like that. It just works. It is a workhorse. It's like I was telling Mr. Obvious, and I know I'll catch grief for this, but a Bic lighter is a Bic lighter. It works, but it's disposable. Okay. There's nothing wrong with them. They work. They're very utilitarian. But there's something about a Zippo lighter that just makes you look cooler. So, same thing with this. It is a utilitarian piece. There is nothing in the world wrong with these. They work. They function. They're very, very nice. But, if you're a blued steel and walnut stock kind of guy like I am, I like leather and, all this. I like old school stuff. That's just me. And that's not really, there's no real benefit to that. This works just fine. Functionality on this is fine. I wish the trigger pull was better, but that's just kind of the nature of the beast. When you're dealing with a striker fire and the reset on it, you can say it didn't affect me shooting though. But that's something you got to work around. Like when we were doing our lever gun video, we had a guy comment on the 357 mag actually, and he was saying that crossbolt safety is a terrible idea. I will say it's redundant. It's not that it's necessary, but anytime you're dealing with any firearm, you got to train with it. And with a Glock, it's the trigger pull that you got to train with, and you work around that. Your fundamentals have to be there. You got to train. This, if I was carrying it every day, I would definitely shoot it a lot more, and I would get a lot better with this. I could get a lot faster. But, you want to be in control. You don't want to be out of control. Just because you got the horsepower to go faster doesn't mean you should, Yeah,
we'll train with it and let it become second nature to you. It's just automatic, but you know what to do automatically. So.
Right. And when you know that trigger is going to be heavy, and it's going to be, and your reset isn't pretty. But, as far as functionality and everything, this is outstanding. I like this firearm. And, you can see I do not use sights. That's just the way I draw and shoot, and works fine for me.
Yeah, works fine. I mean, back to the 1911, most of your rifles don't have as good as triggers as 1911's got.
It's outstanding, isn't it?
I wish they had something like that on these.
Well, and
I get it with a striker fire; it can't be done. So,
and I'm sure you can. The only time I've ever seen a Glock have issues is when people do customize them. That's the only time I've ever seen it. A Glock functions out of the box the way it is. Don't mess with it. I'd say if you're wanting to trick it out and stuff, I wouldn't. I mean, that's just me. It's a Glock is not made for that. It is a defensive weapon. It is utilitarian. It is durable. I can throw this in the glove box of my car, and I know that thing's going to work when I pull it out.
Pull it out next year, and it'll go to work for you.
Pull it out next year. That's right. You can leave it out in the car, and they're an excellent firearm. I highly recommend it, even though it's something I personally don't carry. And I'll say this again. I'll make another comparison. And a lot of the firearms I carry, it's kind of like having an old Jaguar or something. It's classy, it's smooth, it's the best ride you'll ever have. if you're a mechanic.
Yeah.
So if you know what you're doing, and I have no problems from a 1911. They're very functional, but this is your Honda Civic. It's going to get you there, and it's never going to have a problem.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be Mario Andretti to operate it, you know? So that's just my feeling on them. Let me know in the comment section what you think. And is there anything else we want to add, Mr. Robbies?
No, I mean,
We've got a lot of interest.
Yeah, we're hillbillies. We're the jack of all trades, master of none.
Master of none.
But we get the job done.
Yeah. So you might see some of that coming. So don't worry. We're staying with the gun stuff. We're going to keep doing that.
Yeah.
This is, Mr. Obvious and I are both this is our first love. You know, the firearms. We love doing these. And secondary to everything is, the farm. And I love farming and all that too. So anyway, well, with that, remember everybody, keep your knives sharp, keep your powder dry.
Subscribe to Last Minute Man and watch us on
Rumble.